Previously on Jeep Roscoe. We're just about to enter Magaret Cave. So this is Hamlin Bay.
A shipwrecked adventurer had so seen the fair winds blooming all the way from Germany.
And of course with the name Gwalia, which literally means Wales. How could I not go there? So effectively I would have done the Nullarbor in 2 days. Quite famous. They really got some nice beaches. So today we're going on a little trip inland, so we're heading east today. From Australind, where we've been staying. We're just going on a few days kind of a little lap. The ultimate goal of which is to get up to Hyden, where I'm going to show you guys Wave Rock. Wave Rock is a geological formation where there's, you guessed it, a rock that looks like a wave. But there's a couple of other nibs and nabs along the way, which I'm going to show you. So basically we're heading almost we are heading due east. It's currently 34 degrees, by the way. It's quite warm. Humidity is quite high today. It's around 80%, so that's a killer. But yeah, we're heading to. Okay. So we're heading towards the town of Collie first and foremost. We'll probably stop there quickly just to get a little snack to eat for lunch. From there then we keep going further east on the same road, where our first stop for the little trip this evening will be in the town of Wagin. Wagin is known for sheep markets, and it's got a giant statue of a ram. Well, Australia, much like parts of the American Midwest, are kind of obsessed with having big things, you know. So you have the big lobster, the big banana, the big orange, the big apple, blah blah blah. So yeah, look out for a big ram later on today. Otherwise, yeah, it's a nice little journey. We're only about a 2-hour drive to Wagin from here. That's including the stop in Collie. So we'll catch up with you then. This is the town of Collie, in the heart of the coal fields here. That's coal, not gold. Railway museum here and a coalfield museum, which I've been to a long time ago, and it's worth a nice little look around. There's some nice swimming spots up here which I went to recently. I'll show you some pictures. is the giant ram of Wagin. It's about 2 hours drive to the east of Australind, where I've been staying. That's the main road just drove in on. There's Delilah Park down there. Tourist Information Centre's just behind us. And yeah, this is the giant ram of Wagin. Let's think, it's probably the size of 2 double-decker buses, I'd say. The Tourist Information Centre was extremely helpful. Not really, actually. But they did point me in the direction of the RV park where I might be able to stay tonight, so I'll go and check that out. It's a lovely little park just behind a visitor centre. See the visitor centre there. And yeah. Got these nice little ponds with fountains, landscaped areas, picnic seating spaces which they look like camping spots to me, but there's no camping allowed here. Toilets, and there's a little trail you can do with interpretation boards telling you what wildlife you'll see, etc. Apparently there's a native red-tailed phasgulay, I think that's how it's pronounced, live in here. Small rodent type creature. And yeah, I can see through the trees there caravans, so I'm guessing that might be the RV park. But this little park's lovely, quite underutilised by the look of it. The visitor board here talks about Woolarama, which is a big volunteer-run festival that takes place in March. They have up to 30,000 visitors. Apparently they've got quite a strong bond of civic duty in Wagin, and that's where they raised money for the ram, which is just behind the trees over there, back in 1985. Little map of the town here. It's just a little bit outdated and not very populated either, but nice thought. This has probably been up for a few years, I'd imagine. But yeah, just right next to the park and the toilets. Beautiful spot. Some more information on the ram here. It weighs 4 tons, 13 meters in length, 9 meters high, 6 meters wide. 9 times the size of a live ram. These little things were crawling all over me last night. No idea what they are. Must have killed about 20 of them. Good morning. Well, we're just about to leave Wagin. We spent the night at the RV camp, which is next to the showgrounds. I don't know if it's because this weekend is the Woolarama festival, which is kind of like a big agricultural show, but there's at least 60 dogs in this campsite. So obviously a dog-friendly park, but there's people with utes with, like, 6 dogs on the back, so they may be bringing them to show in the show. But let's just say that I did not get a bloody wink of sleep last night. Firstly, the guy next to me, his dog just didn't stop bloody barking, and not once did he get up to do anything about it. Every now and again you'd hear this very lazy, "Oh, come on, settle down," and the dog just paid zero attention to it. So yeah, thanks for that, mate. On top of that, I got attacked by loads of these little brown things. I thought they were larvae, but well, a closer inspection this morning in the light of day, they look like some kind of small bug, but the size of a grain of rice. Little brown things. I managed to get a little bit of footage to show you, but I thought I was being paranoid. Thought, when you get an idea or something in your head about something crawling over you, and that you start getting phantom things. But he come to the point where, partly because I couldn't sleep because of that, and partly because I couldn't sleep because of the dogs, I turned my headlight on to find loads of these little things. So I killed as many as I could, which was probably about 12 this morning in the light of day. I had a look underneath the mattress and in the corners of the router. I have no idea how they got in, but there was probably at least 30 of them crawling around. Picked up my hat this morning, there's some in the inside of my hat. I'm like, where are these things coming from? Spoke to another couple of campers, they've had exactly the same issue, so I'm hoping it's just here. They must have been like, well, I can't see how I picked them up on my shoes, because I was wearing flip-flops and I took them off at the bottom of the stairs to get into the tent, so I don't know how I would have dragged them in. I'm trying to think of other things that I brought into the tent. There's not that many, so anyway, I've done a good clear up this morning. Hopefully that's the last we'll see of them. So we're going to go on a little bit of a meander up to Hyden. Hyden's about 3 hours drive from here at a leisurely pace. We're going to go via a place called Lake Grace. There's loads of little salt lakes and stuff around the place, so we'll just kind of stop along the way. Anything it takes our fancy, really. Otherwise, we get up to Wave Rock. On another matter, I'm getting a few issues with my fridge / battery. When I went to bed last night, the battery was like 72%. The fridge was a couple of degrees off where I wanted it to be. I put it on eco mode. Woke up this morning, the battery's completely dead. The fridge was running off its own battery, which means it only just went, but still, it shouldn't be running out at 70%. If it was like 50 or 40% before I went to bed, then fair enough. But I will be calling in to iTech World on my way past Perth. If it's becoming an issue, I'm going to raise it with them, but it's not looking good, This morning the sun's behind loads of clouds, so I haven't had a chance to get it on the solar panels for long. It's plugged in now, I got the engine running, so the alternator's kind of trying to power the battery, but the battery won't start powering the fridge until the battery reaches like 20%. It's now on 12, so it's going to be a vicious cycle then, so this might become a serious issue. Anyway, I'll keep you posted. So en route to Lake Grace, we've stumbled across Lake Dumbleyung, which apparently is the largest naturally forming inland lake in Western Australia. It varies from year to year and from decade to decade, depending on the weather. As you can see now, it's rather quite full. They've had a very wet winter this year. So there's a little stop here and some interpretation boards that tell you a little bit about it. First recorded sighting was by Europeans. It was in 1843 by Landorf and Lefroy. They come in search of pastoral lands, and they come across this large body of water mentioned by a lot of Aboriginal people they met. The name comes from the Noongar word for it. Where did I read that? Dumbleyung, meaning large lake, and Dumbleyung. Anyway, that's how the name come about. There's loads of different routes you can do. Walking around the reserve. They have a yacht or a club here, and they have a regatta. It's quite important still to the Noongar people, and certain times of the year a lot of other Aboriginal groups come here for special occasions. So we'll go down and have a look at this little lookout down here, and then afterwards we're going to go up this hill. Just behind that tree there is another lookout. There's a sign there, but you know, scenic lookout this way, but then immediately followed by a private property sign. But it doesn't say don't go in. The private property says go in at your own risk. So I'm going in. Anyway, let's go and have a quick look here. To try and get a better kind of idea of scale here, I'll see if I can get the drone up in a second. But you know, I saw it off in the distance, just this huge body of water. I thought it might have been a mirage first of all, but as we got closer and closer, quickly realised that no, it's an actual lake. I'm trying to tread carefully here because all these rocks around and a bit of long grass, it could be ideal territory for snakes. Yes, here we are, on the shores of Lake Dumbleyung. Dumbleyung. Quite eerie with all these dead trees here. I'm just amazed by the sheer size of it this far inland. It's huge. So I've just come up from where I just was. There's Lake Dumbleyung. And come up this route, which is on private land, kind of spirals around, and you come up here. I don't know what I was expecting to find, but there's a nice little picnic spot, etc. It's a nice lookout over the lake. But I'm really glad I come here because reading these interpretation boards, this is the place where on New Year's Eve in 1964, Donald Campbell broke the world speed record on the water. The same year he broke the world land speed record on land, so he became the only person still to this day to do that in the same year. But yeah, it's got all these things about the Campbells and the breaking of the land speed, or the water speed record. Really glad I came here. With the Campbells. This was the place, the Bluebird. Imagine being here in 1964 and seeing the Bluebird go streaking across here, breaking the water speed record. Honestly, I'm blown away. I had no idea. Who would have guessed it? Dumbleyung Lake. This is the place. There's a nice little tree here as well, which is very picturesque, and I'd love to come back here for sunset. A little plaque over here, which I'm guessing is going to be to the Campbells. Now I've come up here, I've just been followed up by somebody else. In memory to Terry Ward, maybe a local, maybe. I love this lake. Maybe a friend of the landowner. Who knows? Yeah, look, there's the bluebirds going across. So we're at Pussycat Hill Lookout. Yeah, and there's a plaque there unveiled by Gina Campbell. So the yacht club is down the far end of the lake apparently. I might go and check it out. And here's a full-size replica of the bluebird. This is the bluebird that broke the water speed record on Lake Dumbleyung. Full-size replica created by a local here for the 50th anniversary. This is the little township of Dumbleyung. Very pretty. Right next to the railway and war memorials. Petrol station. Very nice looking Bank of New South Wales. Just a paint job. And yeah, the bluebird. It's got a little specifications board showing the original one. And then a little bit about the 20th celebrations. And it's talking about the Pussycat Hill Monument. That's where we just come from. And then the 50th anniversary. Something I should have pointed out at Pussycat Hill Lookout. But this big granite slab I took a photo of has got a little hole in it, as you can see in that photograph. And on a specific day, the day of the year that they broke the land speed record, December. Doesn't actually show the date here. I'll have to look it up. But if you go there, the specific time and date that he broke the land speed record, water speed record, the sun shines through that hole down onto a plaque on the ground, illuminating the bluebird. Yeah, the things you stumble across in outback Australia. There we are, a little township of Dumbleyung. Oh look, there's Donald Campbell over there. A bust of him. But there we are. Good little stop. I'm gonna try a local cafe for a bit of lunch. How about this for a sculpture? All done out of like chicken mesh. The detail on it. It's extraordinary. This was unveiled by Gina Campbell, the daughter of Donald Campbell. See if I can find the sculpture commissioned by Robert McDougall. Sculpture was created by Ivan Lovett using galvanized chicken wire. Down the bottom there. Next to the sculpture, you've got this little kind of community shop with a cafe in it, and it's got a little museum section to the bluebird. So this is Lake Grace behind me. We'll probably be another hour away from Hyden. We're just about to turn north. We've been going east. This is the official lookout I'm on here. A little, enclosed bit, raised bit, so you can have a look over. I currently got the solar panels on because I'm having issues with the battery. It's not charging as well as it should. And you can see the size of Lake Grace. It goes off. There's the main road that we're just on kind of intersects from here. It runs off into the distance, and the lake kind of goes either side of the road. In the winter, when they get an extreme downpour, you can imagine this floods. It's quite a large salt lake. Not the largest I've seen, but quite large. 100 kilometers away from Hyden. We should be there in an hour. We just cut through the town of Lake Grace, which looks very nice actually. Tempted to go back through it to film it. It looks very neat and squared away. In some ways bigger than Dumbleyung or wherever it was that we went last. But just a bit eager now to keep going and get to Hyden, and then I can relax a bit. So first stop is Collie, and then we cut to the northeast to Kondinin, and then turn east from there to Hyden itself. So we made it to Wave Rock. There we are. We're staying at Wave Rock campsite, which is about 50 yards that way, 20 meters that way. So yeah, this is my second time here, but this time, as I say, I'm in the caravan park campsite, so I can come back here as often as I want. So I'm hoping these clouds clear up so I'll be able to get a Milky Way photographed early tomorrow morning. And if I just flip you, so it's like a big, basically granite slab, and you come around to this side and it's been eroded in such a way that it looks like a big wave. It can be quite slippery underfoot, but when it's quite dry it's quite good for footing. But yeah, as you can see, you know, the colorations in the rock and the weathering and erosions cause these color bandings where the waters come down. Just kind of adds something to it, if you ask me. There are loads of flies around. You might just be able to make out on the top. There's like a, I don't know if it's a safety wall or a stop water erosion or something, but it's really annoying. It's very hard to get a photograph without that being in it. I think it's about to disappear. Ooh, slippery spot. Now, this time of day I'm the only one here. Just getting a quick selfie. Anyway, there's some other rock formations around here. You can actually go up on top of this as well. So we'll have a little walk around and see, scouting for photography spots for later. It's quite tall. Probably talking about 14 meters up. Little interpretation boards around. Let's see what this one has to say. Yeah, it's a little bit about how it was shaped by water. You can read it at your leisure. And that's what it looks like from up on top. I'll go and see if I can check that out. Alright, there we are, Wave Rock. Wave Rock. And this little fellow, when he runs, he really goes. Perfect camouflage for these rocks. Crazy. So this is the view from the top of Wave Rock, or at least from the gentler side. It's off in the distance. I come up over there by Hippos-Ion. Not very impressive. And apparently that wall that's there delimitates the catchment area for the dam. I don't know if they'll know how water works. It's just going to run down that hill and get stuck at the wall, surely. Anyway, that's what it is apparently. So I'm just going to head back down here now, join up with the path, and go back and maybe have a swim. They've got a pool at the campsite. Well, I've only used my rooftop tent 4 times now. 3 of the 4 nights I've had a very good night's sleep. One night, the night in Wagin, it was horrible. But I had a good night's sleep last night, which means I didn't get up to do astrophotography. I did get up in the middle of the night to overlook, and it was clouded over, so never mind. However, that being said, I've used my rooftop tent 4 times. And just look at the floor here. Look how dimpled it is. I hope that's not a sign of things to come. Anyway, apart from that, quite happy with it. Getting into the knack of putting it up and taking it down quite quickly. Folding it in when closing is the worst part of it. I've tried with the bungees here to try and get them to collapse in on itself, but there's no way of doing it with the outer shell completely, so you've got to tuck it all in afterwards. So this is what I mean about folding them in. You just after you've sandwiched it together, just got to lift up one side and tuck the stuff in before you can think about putting the cover on. It's not too difficult, it's just fidgety. Can get quite heavy, mind, when you're trying to tuck the bottom ones in. You've got to lift up the rest with one hand. So right next to Wave Rock, which is off in the distance over there, you've got this little salt lake that's been built. Each of these cubicles has got a shower and toilet in them. And then you can just come and just float. It's like what they call the Dead Sea in the outback. So it's obviously been man-made and filled up with salt water. So you can just come and float in the salt waters, and if you believe in the healing factors of salt water, you can is out as part of the Wave Rock Resort. Looks like it's still being developed. The resort itself is over there. It's all part of the same company that owns the caravan and camping site, which is the other side, closer to the rock. Yeah, lovely little pool. So right next to the resort, you've got a natural lake, which is also salt water, which is called Lake Magic, where you can go on in a kayak and whatnot. You see a kayak on the far banks. It looks like they're trying to develop this area into like a really nice resort with swimming pools and ponds and wildlife park. There's also an airport, miniature airport you can see just down the road there. I suppose it's the main airport for this kind of vicinity, a regional airport. And then obviously on this side you've got the Wave Rock, massive as you can see. You can see the line just at the bottom where the tree line is. That's where the Wave Rock actually starts and runs all along the side of the massive there. And that line is the water mark. That stupid little wall they built. So just stopped for a quick toilet break in the town of Kondinin, which is a traveller's rest, like a lay-by information booth kind of thing. And just come across this big placard, poster, whatever you'd call it, dedicated to the exploration map of John Septimus Roe, Surveyor General of Western Australia. You can just see there, Kondinin. That's where we are. And now we're heading west. Not sure where we'll end up today. Maybe York or somewhere else. Don't know. A little bit more here about Kondinin. It's just the information board. This is a map of the town itself, and then the wider shire, and then an even further out map there. So we basically just come from Hyden, which is in the Kondinin Shire, through Corrigin, which is really small, to Kondinin. From there I think we're going to go up towards Corrigin before turning back west. I'm not really sure yet. A little bit down the end here, talking about the first inhabitants and how the Noongar people, which we've come across quite a bit in this neck of WA, the Noongar people, they didn't settle anywhere really. They moved with the seasons, following the water and food. Hence why, you know, we've come across them quite a bit. And yeah, this part of Australia, if not the whole of Australia, is so reliant on the weather and the weather patterns. It's ridiculous. I might just go for a quick little drive through Kondinin before we leave. But it's not a huge place, to be honest. So this is the town of Corrigin, famous for a dog in a ute festival, which, as you may be able to tell, involves putting on a dog in a ute. Utes, for all those people that aren't familiar with Australian culture, are basically like a car with a pickup back on it, you know. And a dog in a ute just means a dog in the back of your car or ute, you know, in the flatbed on the back. I think I've just gone straight through Corrigin and bypassed it all. I'm gonna go back because I wanted to show you guys is the dog in a ute. So I was just heading out of Corrigin and saw this tiny little sign on a side street for a scenic lookout. So I took this to turn around and come back for it. Can't turn that down, can I? And then out in the middle of what is bushland, you know, there's this big one-way track and it brings up to this this platform. Stairs to come up to it. From here, you've got an elevated position looking out over wheat fields, bush, and then back towards the town of Corrigin, which is just on that hill just beyond Delilah. And then back to wheat fields in the distance. But yeah, can turn this down. When we get back on the main road, you can see a car maybe just make out coming down the hill there. Just over the brow of the hill, there's a dog cemetery which I've been to before, which I might stop at, which has got some serious pet cemetery vibes. This is Corrigin's dog cemetery. Cemetery dedicated to man's best friend. There we are. Just a quick little stop I thought I'd show you. You don't see this every day. Just reading the sign at Corrigin Dog Cemetery. Said it was quite a unique place, came about because of the death of Strike, who was Paddy Wright's best mate. Paddy Wright buried his dog here, and then years later another local did, and you know, it kind of built up and from there. Talking about the dog in a ute, Corrigin holds the world record for the number of dogs in a ute. And that's not in one ute, they do a procession through town. On the 31st of October 1998, the longest queue of registered utes and dogs travelled 7 kilometres in continuous convoy with 699 vehicles driving bumper to bumper through the town of Corrigin. There we are. Right, it's a warm one today. It's like 42 degrees, so I'm keen to crack on. Good. Just in the little village of Popanyinnging. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Popanyinnging. Anyway, I've been listening to the radio, and it's a very hot day today. It's about 42 degrees. Listening to ABC radio. I mean, the weather forecast has been saying there's huge thunderstorms forming over Perth and coming this way, basically. So as I'm driving, let me see if I can get most of this in. This big cloud formation's been forming, and every now and again I see a bolt of lightning coming out of it. It's now covering most of the sky. It was just off in the distance, but I reckon another half an hour it's going to be on top of me. Yeah, the wind's starting to pick up now. It's still very, very hot. So you've got a risk of fires with the lightning. Not much rain predicted. 1 mil, they reckon, if anything. But lightning on the way. Popanyinnging. we've well and truly hit it. The crosswinds are quite severe. It's currently midnight and I gotta listen to this crap. Yeah, that's lightning. That last bit of lightning was ridiculously close. Ridiculously close. Not really sure being on a rooftop tent is a good idea right now. Not really sure if it's a better idea to stay up here or get out. The minute you're on the ladder, you're conducting. That was quite interesting. I've had to close most of the windows. The rain really started coming down quite heavily. This is Lake Stockton near Collie. Look at the colour on the water. It's an old quarry that's been filled in, almost glacial-like. And yeah, camping here is on a first come first served basis. I was staying just behind those clump of trees over there, and it's like $11 to stay here for a night if the ranger catches you. Water sports are allowed. There's a boat ramp over there somewhere, and yeah, the water was beautiful. Tried to get the drone up just to show you from above, but sadly I'm having issues since my last update with that, so I'm gonna have to get that sorted when I get back to base. I haven't got much signal out here, so no hope in hell in changing it out here. So from here we're just going to go into Collie to get some breakfast before going back to Australind. But yeah, Lake Stockton.